In a recent study, the FDA found that 90% of over 100 over-the-counter and prescription drugs were perfectly fine 15 years after the expiration date. Some of the potency had decreased, but most of the original potency still existed, enough to make the drugs somewhat effective. That is, if the drugs were stored in a cool, dry, and dark place. However, obtaining extra prescription drugs to stockpile presents a problem. Pharmacies and prescription drug plans generally do not allow one to just order an extra bottle or two unless your doctor approves. They want to dispense prescription meds like candy from a vending machine. So, what if you could not obtain an adequate emergency supply for a grid down or SHTF scenario? What then? Well, some suggest to skip a dose of your meds every other day, and over a long period of time you would have extra meds. But that may be risky, and I personally would advise against it. By the way, do not store tetracycline antibiotics. After 1 year, they may become poison, and you definitely do not want that. So, let's say the grid goes down and you are without your prescription meds after just a few days, a week, or a month. You'll need to find an alternative, and this one you can prep for in advance. What is this alternative, you may be asking? Stay tuned and learn all about the alternative beneficial effects of turmeric, which could be a viable and important part of your prepping. Turmeric is a spice that gives curry its yellow color. It has been used in India for thousands of years as a spice and medicinal herb because it contains compounds with medicinal properties. These compounds are called curcuminoids, the most important of which is curcumin. Curcumin is the main active ingredient in turmeric. It has powerful anti-inflammatory effects and is very strong as an antioxidant. Curcumin may also help reverse many steps in the heart disease process. Perhaps the main benefit of curcumin when it comes to heart disease is improving the function of the endothelium, which is the lining of the blood vessels. It is well known that the endothelial dysfunction is a major driver of heart disease and involves an inability of the endothelium to regulate blood pressure, blood clotting, and various other factors. Turmeric, as stated earlier, has very powerful anti-inflammatory properties. Inflammation is incredibly important. Inflammation is a defensive mechanism in the body. The immune system recognizes damaged cells, irritants, and pathogens, and it begins the healing process. It helps the body fight foreign invaders and also has a role in repairing damage. Without inflammation, pathogens like bacteria could easily take over our bodies and kill us. Although acute, short-term inflammation is beneficial, it can become a major problem when it is chronic, long-term, and inappropriately deployed against the body's own tissues. It is estimated that by 2020, chronic disease will be responsible for 75% of all deaths in the world. Not only is it costing us our lives, but the U.S. is also reported to have spent approximately $2 trillion on public and private health care, the majority of which is spent on the chronic disease burden alone. Unfortunately, the healthcare system responds to the disease burden by relying heavily on prescription medications that come with a list of dangerous side effects, such as weakening the immune system, a whole host of neurological, biological problems, and even increasing thoughts of suicide. There have been studies done recently that suggest turmeric can be effective as a prescription medication, but without the side effects. Keep in mind, however, that the majority of these studies are preliminary and further research is needed to assess if the results hold up in the long run. But for now, These positive outcomes provide hope as well as another tool for those struggling to find relief from their symptoms. Turmeric is a herbaceous perennial plant of the ginger family. It is native to the Indian subcontinent and Southeast Asia, and requires a considerable amount of annual rainfall to thrive. Turmeric powder has a warm, bitter, pepper-like flavor and earthy mustard-like aroma. Recently, I have been diagnosed with moderate osteoarthritis, mainly affecting my right hip. I was prescribed meloxicam, a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug, and after a month of use, I observed no benefits of its use, and its side effects were very undesirable. Meloxicam use can result in gastrointestinal toxicity and bleeding, headaches, rashes, and more. I reached out to social media and I told everyone about my diagnosis of osteoarthritis. Many responded with a suggestion of a daily regimen of turmeric. Turmeric in a pill form is only fat soluble, so you will need to add a dose of healthy fat, when you take it. Try a half of an avocado or a tablespoon of coconut oil, natural peanut butter without sugar, because remember, sugar and refined sugars are a major cause of inflammation. Any natural fat will do, but it is important to take it in sequence to help the curcumin to synthesize the body's cell structure. Also, black pepper helps the absorption of turmeric into the molecular cells of the body. There is also a drink made from turmeric and either coconut milk or almond milk that I take daily. At the posting of this video, I have been taking a turmeric dietary supplement for about 1 week, and I have had much better results using turmeric with very minimal inflammation and much better mobility. By the way, this is not a paid advertisement. If you want to know what supplement I choose, after some extensive research, it is Gaia Herbs Turmeric Supreme Extra Strength. Take one in the morning and one at supper with a meal. Pain is a constant factor, but it can be managed. So this is Prepper Action, and I hope you enjoy my videos. Please subscribe, share, comment, click that like button, and above all, be safe. Prepper Action out.